Hello. I want to welcome everyone in to my new collectors collaboration series called the Card Bar Hobby Chats. And tonight's episode is episode number 1. I hope everyone is looking forward to checking this series out on my channel. I'm sure excited to get this started, and I'm looking forward to showcasing others' collections, sharing cards, hearing their hobby journey, and just enjoying our great hobby. So tonight's episode number 1, I just want to tell you a little bit about my collecting journey, as well as show cards, give you some stories, and just a few of my hobby favorites. So, in this episode, guys, I wanted to go ahead and just kind of give you kind of a run through of the format of what an episode will entail. It will basically be where I will feature a collector. Feature a local collector in my area or one on the in the YouTube community, and I'm looking forward to getting that set up. Got a lot of great list of people that have reached out and are interested in this, so I'm looking forward to just hearing their story. And so tonight, what will happen is I'll take you through kind of my collecting journey and just kind of the format on how this series is going to run. And like I said, I'm looking forward to it. I have a lot of great questions that I will always, kind of run through with them, and we'll just have a great time. Like I said, sharing cards, hearing stories, and just, enjoying our great hobby. And really, that's what it's all about, is just connecting with others on here and hearing their great hobby journeys. And so, a little bit about my journey. When I first started collecting, I first started collecting when I was about 5 or 6 years old. My parents got me into the collecting cards, and down that road, we collected cards, we collected starting lineups, pretty much anything that was sports related. And I had a great time with them on that. It was a great bond, and it's a bond that we still have to this day, which is always awesome when you're able to share that bond with your parents. And I'm greatly appreciative of that. And so, like I said, I just really just enjoy the fact that they were able to provide that for me while I was growing up, because we would go on a lot of weekend card trips. We would go up to card shops, card shows. I remember the various card shows in malls, the various shops that we went into, and just had a great time collecting cards at that time, which would have been about roughly, thinking of at that time, would be about early 90s. We're looking at 92, 93, 94, 95, right in that time frame. Kind of just tells you my age and the story of when I started, about that time frame anyway. And so, I just wanted to go ahead and show you some of my nostalgia cards of when I started, and start with this Michael Jordan card. This card really sticks out to me in collecting cards at that time frame. I was a big Michael Jordan fan. Really enjoyed watching the Bulls at that time. Would remember staying up as late as I possibly could just to be able to catch Jordan and see how well he did. And so, nostalgia cards for me, I think of this one right here. This is another one I think of, another Jordan nostalgia card for me. Really like that one. And then this Bo Jackson card, pretty iconic Bo Jackson card. Always think about this one and about that time frame when I started. This is the score, Bo Jackson. The 1990 score. Nice card of him. And then definitely got to always throw this one out there, because this was a great card when that came out. Kind of an interesting image and what they had him in, but that set was just kind of the way right there. And so those 4 cards right there, just kind of a brief showing of some nostalgia cards of when I started. And like I said, I still remember those times and just the different players and the sets. At that time, you're looking at some of the first insert sets that were starting to come out, and you had the finest refractors, and which were always great. You had the Bean Team cards that were starting to come out, which were always great. The Jordan Bean teams, and so just always going to remember the cards that I collected when I started, and so that just kind of takes me back to when I first started. And like I said, when you're able to share that bond with your parents and share the just the common likeness of being able to do that, it's always great, and it's always special to be able to do that. And so what do I collect? I collect pre-war baseball, golden age Hall of Famers. I collect Hank Aaron, Eddie Matthews, George Brett. I collect my local sports teams, which would be the Kansas City Royals, the Kansas City Chiefs, Kansas State Wildcats. I enjoy picking up players and sets from those teams. And like I said, I enjoy that. I have a pretty good collections for, some Chiefs and Royals, and I have some K-State cards that I really enjoy. And so kind of just keeps me that wide variance of different, all the way from pre-war baseball to ultra modern, kind of keeps it fresh and always something that I'm looking forward to and searching. So really enjoy being able to do that. A favorite set that I like to collect, I do like to collect vintage baseball. And so when I think of a favorite set to go after and look for and collect, I instantly think of this set right here, the 1956 Topps. And this is the Jackie Robinson. Just a beautiful card of Jackie right there. But really enjoy that set a lot. The design of it is great, in my opinion. And I think if you ask most collectors, especially vintage collectors, they would tell you the 1956 Topps set is pretty hard to beat. And so it's just a set that I have really grown to like as I've been collecting vintage baseball. A favorite card that I like in my collection is this one right here, the 1975 Topps George Brett rookie card. This is a card that when I go to card shows and card shops, and when I still check and scroll on eBay, this is a card that I definitely seek out and look for. I just really enjoy this card. Being a Kansas City Royals fan and just enjoying the Royals, George Brett is one of my main players that I enjoy collecting. So that card instantly is right at the top and one of my favorites in my collection. And I enjoy collecting George Brett. I have a lot of different George Brett cards and have a binder, have several boxes of George Brett cards. It's always great to be able to go to shows and shops and check on eBay and kind of fill in the ones that, that I am still needing. And so that's something that, I will always collect, and I'll always be on the hunt for George Brett. Ultimate Grail card. Ultimate Grail card for me would probably have to be the 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle. When I think of Ultimate Grail, I think of the 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle, just because of how iconic of a card it is and how iconic Mickey Mantle is in the collecting hobby. And so I instantly think of the 1952 Mickey Mantle. And someday I would like to own it. Not sure I ever will be able to get that opportunity, but that is a card that if I was able to, have and be able to afford in the budget at a later time, then that would be a card that I certainly would love to have in the collection. A memory that will always stick in my journey is probably, like I said, the beginning of it. Just the fact that my parents and I have that unique, special bond, and we still have that bond of collecting cards and, enjoying the hobby together. And my dad, he likes to come join me. I set up at a certain show here in Kansas, and he gets great enjoyment of setting up and being alongside me at my table. And so, it's always special when he's right there, as he's the one that my dad and my mom got me started. And so it's just really great to be able to have that bond and that experience with them. And so that will always be a memory in my lifetime when it comes to the hobby and collecting cards. Some favorite, well, I should say some projects that I'm currently working on, and I'll show you some cards here. I am a Hank Aaron collector, so this is a postcard, but I'm just kind of trying to fill in. At this point, I'm filling in the leaders and the all-star cards. I do have his tops run completed. So I'm just really, for him, I'm just working on, kind of, as some would say, oddballs. I enjoy picking up, different Hank Aaron cards that I do not have in the collection. And so that's another thing. When I go to shops and shows, I kind of look and see which ones I don't have. And that's one player that I will pick up. Next one is Eddie Matthews. I enjoy collecting Eddie Matthews. This is just, I love these cards a lot. These red bands, just a great set. This one doesn't have a tab. Still a great looking one of Eddie Matthews. So Eddie Matthews, I'm kind of working on. I'm just missing the 1952 tops of his tops run, and then I would like to fill in. I would like to get the 1954 Johnston cookies of both Hank Aaron and Eddie Matthews. Would be great pickups. And at some point maybe I can get those completed. But so Eddie Matthews, like I said, just kind of filling up. It's kind of the same with Hank Aaron. Those two are just kind of filling in some of the oddball cards that I'm needing for that. And then obviously George Brett. And this is the 1976 O-Pee-Chee. So currently right now I've been working on his O-Pee-Chee run and trying to get that completed and getting closer to getting that finished up. And so looking forward to being able to, I think I'm like 5 cards away from finishing the O-Pee-Chee run up and getting them put in the binder. A couple of them, like that one I have in a one touch, and then his rookie I have in a Mag Pro with the Royals logo. And so the rest of them I'll have in my Brett binder, which I really enjoy. And so really on Georgia Brett, I'm just like filling in the rest of the O-Pee-Chee run, and then any George Brett cards that I don't have, I'll pick up. And we'll go to the next kind of question here is what is one card that I'll never sell from my collection? And it happened to be this one right here. Just a beautiful card. This is the 1909 T206 Walter Johnson portrait. It's a Piedmont 150 back. But this card is just, it's in my opinion, one of the most iconic cards in the T206 set. And so when I see this, I just love that yellow background. I think of how beautiful when you're able to get a pretty clean copy of it. Just really pops, in my opinion. So really enjoy this card. And this is a card that I will, for me anyway, I will not sell in my collection. And so, what is a favorite thing about the hobby? And I would say there are a lot of great things about this hobby. Collecting cards. It's always great to add cards to your collection and fill that and check off boxes and sets and this and that and what you need and that. But my favorite thing in this hobby is just the people that we meet, the connections we make. The cards bring us together, but it's really just the connections that we make along the journey. And that's really what makes it special. And so when we're able to, go to card shows and shops and just enjoy the hobby with our friends, that makes it even better. It's special when you can really enjoy what others collect and when they're able to pick up a certain card or that they're really going after, it's great to celebrate that with them. And so I would have to say probably one of my, if not the favorite, my favorite thing is just the memories and being able to meet great people in our community. And so when you're able to meet great people, then it makes doing this all that much worthwhile and special. And so really that was kind of just the flow of how the episode will go. After we're done with some questions that I've kind of come up and gave to them, we'll go ahead and do like a hobby rapid fire, which will be fun to kind of hear, just kind of see. We'll do kind of like a 5 different quick picks hobby rapid fire and just kind of see how that goes. And really, really what I'm looking for is just a lot of just sharing cards and stories and memories and just sharing other people's collections and just having a great time enjoying our hobby. And like I said, that's really what it's all about. Is just especially here on the YouTube community, is just getting on here and being able to share cards, share stories, and just have a great time. And if we're having a great time, then it'll always make the hobby great. And no matter what negative thing is that we're facing or going on right now, is just being able to have a common likeness and share what we love. And when we're, like I say, when we're able to do that, it makes it all worthwhile. And so that's really all I had for episode 1, guys. It's just kind of take you through just the format of what an episode will look like. The next episode 2, will feature a great collector, and I'm excited to be able to record it with him and get that out to you guys and just kind of share, have him share his story, have him share some of his favorite cards, and just, like I say, just enjoy our great hobby. And so, like I said, really, guys, that's all I had for episode 1 tonight of the Card Bar Hobby Chats. I hope everyone is looking forward to checking this series out on my card channel, Ryan's Bullpen Sports Cards. So you can go ahead and tune in on Ryan's Bullpen Sports Cards if you're interested in checking out the Card Bar Hobby Chats. And until next time, guys, just enjoy the hobby and have fun doing it. Thank you, guys. We'll talk to you later.